Okay guys, coming to you from my RV that I recently purchased along with the lot that I own that the RV sits on. So yesterday I did a video about the three negatives, okay, of buying a home base. And today I'm going to do three positives, okay, about buying a home base or a house. You can, look at it how you want. But as a nomad, someone who's lived full time on the road, there's always the debate of, do you want to get a home base? Always. Maybe not initially if you sell a house or you get on the road for an extreme circumstance, but over time, it's always an issue that lingers, at least in your mind. So let's talk about the number one positive thing that happens when you get a home base. Okay. And I hope I spell this properly. So the number one thing is rest and assurance. You never have to worry about not being able to park in a certain location. You never have to worry about what happens if you get sick, hurt, or injured. You never have to worry about your long-term plan as you get older. Your exit strategy is secured, so your mind can rest and be assured that you have your home base. And that's a positive. It is. And so, it's something that, again, since I was on the road, other than the initial phase, I always went back and forth, do I want a home base? Because there's positives and negatives. And I've shared three negatives yesterday. Today I want to share three positives. But as you get older and the longer you're on the road, the more burnt out you get, and the more you see a need for an exit strategy, or at least to have one in place. And that's rest and assurance. Okay. So let's talk about number two. Okay. Number two. Almost there. I want to make sure I cover the point. So if you buy a home base, you never have to worry about a landlord, and you limit your risk in some instances. What does that mean? Well, one is, again, when you're living on the road, you take more risk, and you can also start to take more risk financially and buy riskier assets, crypto or day trading or starting your own business. There's a scripture that says, be careful not to hoard too much cash, because you will put it all in risky investments and have nothing to show. And so what you don't want to do is, after spending a significant amount of time on the road, is have nothing to show for it, and to be right back in the landlord trap, and to be at zero in your brokerage account or bank account. So one positive is you have allocated assets to a stable investment that you can live in, that assures you never have to deal with a landlord. It gives you certain property rights from ever being evicted or foreclosed on. Certainly if you have a loan on a property, you can still be foreclosed. And certainly if you don't pay your property taxes, you can be foreclosed. But it takes a lot. There's a lot more involved with a foreclosure, especially if it's your primary residence. And paying property taxes should not be a big deal. I mean, if you can't pay property taxes, you can't pay rent, you can't afford to live, there's something wrong. So now I did, when I initially had my first property, to share with you, I had tax liens on my house. I paid them off, but I was just young and kind of robbing from Peter to pay Paul, because I was figuring out my finances. So I've been down that road, so I can understand for people who just want to stick their head in the sand, then yeah, look, eventually, if you don't pay your taxes, or if you don't pay your rent, you get kicked out. I mean, so you gotta, everything costs, but eventually if you don't pay gas, you can't move your vehicle, right? So you're kind of limiting liability, and you're kind of basically saying that, you're not going to be stuck in the rent trap forever, okay, if you buy a home base. So I guess in one sense we're talking about buying a home base, but certainly for low income people, I still recommend get on the list for subsidized housing, because if you're low income, you're at risk, and the quicker you get on the waiting list for a subsidized house, the more you have that secured, okay, and you can rest and be assured. Now, I get it that some of the low income housing is not that desirable, but you don't have to live there. You're just using it as a home base. And that's kind of how I use this RV lot in this RV. You know, I may spend 50% of my time here, maybe less. So it's a balance. It's not a prison. Your health, your well-being, your financial independence, it's all tied into your ability to move and your discipline, you know, your willingness to push yourself out of your place. But, you know, like I say, if you don't have the discipline to get out of your house, if you don't have the discipline to maintain your house, you're not going to have the discipline to stay on the road and be well. You're going to always be in trouble. So the number 3 positive thing about having a home base is something that I've touched on in previous videos, and some of this is redundant, but I feel it's important for me to share as I go here now, my experience now over a month owning the second piece of property in my lifetime, owning for the first time in 5 years after being a full-time nomad. The third positive is at times you need a break from the public and you just want to secure some private space. Even if it's for a couple hours a day, even if it's for just at night, you want some privacy. Okay. Over time, not initially, but over time being on the road, being in the public and not having any privacy will burn you out. Being on the road is fun, it's adventurous, and I don't take anything away from that. But all that adrenaline over time, years, that where it burns out and you need some privacy. So we're talking about some things, again, that we've talked about in the past, but we're putting them on a whiteboard. We're writing them down. I'm sharing with you now as I'm going to document my experience. You know, look, I can't guarantee you what will be in the future. I'm not going to guarantee I keep this forever. But I still do feel a month after I don't have buyer's remorse. I feel that I measured my decision. I tried to buy in a good area right in the beach. Right where I want to live, where I want to spend most of my time, below my means, under 300 square feet RV, simple to clean and maintain for the most part. And, you know, I'm happy with it. You know, and these positives at this point outweigh the negatives. Certainly, look, I mean, if the negatives start to outweigh the positives, you can sell, okay? And then you wipe this board clean, okay? Because that's, you know, that's what one of my friends really was telling me during the process. He goes, Sam, look, if you get into the home base and you don't like it, you sell it. And, you know, of course, what comes up is, well, what if you have to sell for a loss? I lost more money in risky investments than I ever have in housing. I've probably in my lifetime lost, if I add everything up, $300,000 in risky investments. I never lost that in a house. And I paid just under $200,000 for this. So even if this went to zero, which I doubt it would, I mean, I'm right on the beach. Even if it went to zero, I still lost more in risky investments. That's what happens when you don't asset allocate. You limit your risk when you buy a home base, because if not, that money's going to go somewhere, you know, once you build up a certain amount. Okay. So, you know, you don't want all your money to go to drugs, alcohol. I mean, I don't do any of that stuff, but I know some people on the road, that's, you know, what you're into. So you got to, you know, you got to think about that, you know. So hopefully writing this down helps. And again, if you don't like the home base, if I don't like the home base, I'll do a video and I say, you know what, these were all true, but I'm wiping the board clean because I'm selling the home base, whether for a profit or for a loss, and we're going to start over. And sometimes in life you do a reset. Now, I remember I had a great friend, okay, still think about him. He had a child who was struggling with drugs, but he was recovering, and he told his child that, look, you only get so many resets in life. And, you know, look, you can buy and sell property, but it's a lengthy thing. It's a big transactional cost with real estate fees, closing costs, etc. So you don't want to go in and out. It's a long-term investment, not short-term. But you're an adult, sure thing. If you want to sell it, I sell it, you sell it. And you wipe the board clean, okay, and you move on. Don't get psychologically blocked that you can't change, but don't be so quick to change that you don't stabilize and adapt. So hopefully this video helped. If it did, click that thumbs up. Hopefully I earned at least one super thanks. Click that super thanks. You want to be a member and join my unlimited live access, click that blue join button. Leave a comment below, share the video. I hope my videos help you show up. I try to lead by example. Build your dreams step by step. It's not going to build itself. And you got to do the work. If you don't work, your dreams don't work. If you don't work, you're never going to be able to rent or buy. You're never going to even be able to afford gas. Why? Guys, very tough to do anything without some money, but it's very tough to do nothing all day and not make money. I mean, you pretty much got to want to sleep all day. I mean, so, and look, the quicker you get a home base in some instances, the quicker you lock up a thing that you never have to worry about. And now you just build the rest of your wealth or your life or whatever. So either way, guys, I understand there's different perspectives. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Peace.